well. Thank you very much for joining us this morning for the press conference for the squad announcement for the upcoming Concacaf Nations League finals. It's a very exciting time, you could say, for Jamaican football as we're about to embark on a first, and that has been in the last four of this competition, but we'll certainly get more on that later. Let me introduce those that we have to our head table. We're joined by the head coach of the Reggae Boyz, Hamer Hallgrimsson, and to his left as well we have one of our assistant coaches for the senior men's national team, Maron Gordon. Members of the media, Jamaica Football Federation staff, really appreciate you all being here this morning as well, and for those virtually that will join in later on, we appreciate your support as well. Prior to going into this press conference, we're going to open with a word of prayer, and then we'll get right into things. So let us pray. Our loving, kind Heavenly Father, we're grateful for another wonderful day that we've come together to serve you. At this point in time, we kindly ask that you may bless the proceedings upon this press conference so that everything may go well and smooth, Father, and may we as a nation continue to unite as we push toward excellence, success, and growth in football, Father. Let us all stakeholders unite together. Fans, supporters, coaches, staff members, players all unite together to help us accomplish the dreams to push this nation even further. We ask all these things now through your loving Son, Christ Jesus, we pray. Amen. So at this point in time, we're going to head straight into the press conference. But before we get into the actual squad, we're just going to get some opening statements from our coaches, Coach Hallgrimsson and also Coach Gordon as well. In recapping the Trinidad camp, after the Trinidad camp, Coach Hallgrimsson didn't come back to the island immediately. He had the media workshop which took place in Dallas. So just want to get from Coach Hallgrimsson firstly some opening remarks in relation to the Trinidad camp, and then we'll lead into the Nations League itself. Coach?
Yeah, thank you for a lovely prayer as well. As we have stated before, January and February was our time to focus on the domestic players. We traveled the parishes, met the people in charge of football development, did some local camps, played games against JPL teams. So really we put full focus on the domestic players. That kind of project finished with the 2 matches in Trinidad, and it gave us a chance to see new players up close. It gave them a chance to show us how good they were and what they can offer for the national team. Well, it was 2 really good months for me, especially as I learned a lot about the culture, the football culture, speaking to the the people in charge of the development. So some players from this project took their chance, and I would say from these kind of games and camps, even though it only gives us 1 player for the first team, it's worth it. And in this current squad, we have 3 players from this camp in Trinidad. And I would say some players really caught our attention, and all of them are future Reggae Boyz potentials. So even though these 2 months are finished, we will still have an eye on domestic football, and our plan is that Maron is going to be our eyes and ears, even though we will be watching as well, but he will be ahead of watching the JPL and the players here. And maybe I'll give the floor to you, Maron, if you want to talk something more about this Trinidad camp and how it helped us.
Yes, good morning. I think the guys acquitted themselves well. This camp for me was to see how people could transition from, our local Premier League, into international football. The focus on the meetings, the focus on the trainings. I think the guys really did well. Some of them really knocked on the door really hard. Also made it a little bit difficult for us to select the squad to go into the Nation League. So I think the guys did well, and it's just for them to just continue to build on their craft, and hopefully in the future we might have even more than the number we have now in the squad.
Yes, thank you very much, coaches. Really appreciate it on recapping the Trinidad camp. Certainly a lot of positives to take from that experience, being able to give 14 debutants and being able to keep a clean sheet in Trinidad and Tobago for the first time since 1998 as well. So certainly some great strides were achieved in that camp, and also prior, as the coaches made mention, the domestic camps that took place on that weekly basis. Now we're going to talk and switch attention now into the Nations League. Coach, just want to get firstly from you the importance, the excitement leading into these upcoming games for Jamaica in Dallas.
Yeah, first of all, it's an absolute privilege and exciting for us to be in the top 4 Concacaf tournament. So it's the first time for Jamaica, and it's really good for the development of our squad leading to the World Cup in 2026. To be playing finals is always important for every player to play matches like these. It is of course going to be in US, against US, in front of their fans, and they have the capability of playing at home all the way to at least 2027, because all finals will be played in US until 2027. So they have the advantage of being always playing in front of their supporters. So I hope the Jamaicans living in the diaspora in US will come and support us. All the people that can, please come and show support to the players. But what it means is of course, number one, it gives us a chance to win a continental trophy. That will be the first one for Jamaica. Yeah, and doing good in this tournament will give us a lot of FIFA points. That will affect the rankings, etc. So it's a big chance for us if we do good. And like I said, if we have 2 good performances, then we have won our first major trophy for Jamaica. So a lot of possibilities in this camp, but it's a really good preparation both for the Copa America in the summer, the World Cup matches in June, and then of course in preparing the squad for World Cup qualification.
Yes, and just a reminder to the media as well, for next week, Thursday, Dallas and Jamaica are back on the same time zone now. So kickoff will be 6 p.m. Jamaica time. So it's the same time in Dallas as well. 6 p.m. kickoff for Jamaica against the United States. And the final and third place playoff will be on the 24th, which would be the Sunday as well. So those are some of the logistical things that we all can make note about for those games. Now we can, yes, go ahead, Coach.
No, it's just, it's a strange camp though for us. It's a short one. So the match is played on Thursday, if I remember right. Most of our players though are playing Saturday. There is I think 5 players playing Sunday. So most of them will be in US on Monday, but we probably will not be able to train on Monday. So we have only Tuesday and Wednesday to prepare. So it's a very short preparation for an important match. And I'm really happy that the players accept to come as early as possible, so we can at least have some players on training on Monday. So yeah, that is one thing. Prior to go into the squad, we have also added into the staff for this camp Dr. Jason Scott Hamilton, a sports psychologist that will be supporting, more maybe observing this camp, but we intend to have him as a staff member in the Copa America, so we give him this chance to get to know us, to get to know the players, and for the players to get to know him. So he will just be there to assess things, for sure helping us coaches and for the players that want. Also, we will be involving in the staff Freddie Butler and Bibi Gardner. Freddie is the under-17 coach for Jamaica, and Bibi has been supporting the programs, the national team programs, both from England and here in Jamaica. So it is really important, especially for me as a foreigner, to have former Reggae Boyz coming in and giving their expertise and their experience, and it helps the players as well a lot to have the possibility to interact with them. So we're trying to do what we can to improve our setup in the national team.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. Now we can go straight into the upcoming assignments. But before that, Coach Maron Gordon will touch a little bit on our first opponents in the semi-final, which will be the United States.
US, what can we say? Big rivals for us. They have 11 players coming over from the Gold Cup squad into this squad. You know, it's a team with a lot of high-profile players in high-profile clubs. You know, but I think tactically we have been doing good against them, you know, especially recently. You know, it's just to fix a few finer details, and we should get a positive result against them. With a little bit more killer instinct, I think we could have, you know, beat them in the Gold Cup. But you know, such is the game. But we are planning. I know they are planning. But we're trying to get this, you know, get this one right this time, because you know, we really want to win this tournament, you know, and it'll be very good for the country to win something like this, and a good boost going into the Copa America, a good boost going into the World Cup qualifying.
All right, thanks very much, Coach Gordon. Now, Coach Halgrimson, we can go right into in relation to the squad and some key notes on certain players.
Yeah. Sorry. It's interesting to talk about the squad. It's already in the social media, so interesting makes you wonder who you can trust and who not. So it leaks easily out here in Jamaica, so we need to be more careful, especially going to important matches like these, that we don't give any advantage to the opponents. So I'm going to start with some negatives. Some players are missing this camp. For example, Ethan Pinnock. Pinnock had a bad ankle injury and is still a few weeks from returning. He has absolutely assured me that he will be fresh and ready for the World Cup preparations and the Copa America matches. Sadly, Amari Bell got injured last week, and he did a hamstring surgery 3 days ago, and he will be out the minimum, I think he said 11 weeks. So even unlikely to be fit for our World Cup matches in June and the Copa America as well. It's possible, but I would say it's unlikely. Third and fourth player missing is Shaman Nicholson and Demari Gray. They are both suspended for the game against US. So, but we still add them in the squad because they will be eligible to play the second match we play. So both of them, Shamar got yellow cards in both games against Canada, and that is why he is suspended against US, and Demari got a red card in the second match, so he's automatically suspended against US. But like I say, they are both available for our second match in the tournament. And then Leon Bailey and Trevante Stewart, both not selected for this camp because of disciplinary reasons. Maybe just to finish on that one, because I know there will be, if we don't explain, there will be a lot of questions. Just to avoid a lot of questions, we basically have a lot of agreements between the staff and the coaches and the players, but we have only one rule: don't leave the hotel after 10 p.m. And these players didn't even sleep at the hotel, missed the bus next morning. And we've kind of finished this. Both the players took responsibility of their actions. They apologized to us and the squad, and the apology is accepted. We all do mistakes in our lives, even the best. And for all of us, case is closed, and we move on. So it was decided they will not be selected for the next camp, and only this camp. So it was dealt with inside the group, and should always be done this way, not in the media, and I hope you will respect that. Again, someone felt it was necessary to leak it, so it's been all over the media the last 24 hours. I really would like to have presented this in another way, but because of the leak, we just rip the Band-Aid and say things as they are. There's an old Arab proverb that says it's better to have 1,000 enemies outside the tent than to have one inside of it. So let's learn from this in all kind of angles of this situation and grow and be stronger after this one. To the positive, we have 3 new young players in the squad. Maybe if I talk about Bailey Katamatri, is an 18-year-old striker from Sheffield Wednesday. Already at 18 years old, he has played 19 caps for Sheffield, scored 3 goals. Really hard-working, clever using spaces, hard-pressing guy, and is a born goal scorer. So a player that we really think is a future potential for the Reggae Boyz. If we go to the next one.
Kaim Dixon, you know, after the school board tournament, you know, I had a meeting with coach and I told him about this youngster. We took a look at him during the local camps. You know, he impressed us then. Very hard-working kid, you know, scored goals at will. We took him to Trinidad. We won the game 1-0. He was the goal scorer. Did really well, especially in the first game. A kid with a bright future and somebody that we think, you know, is good to be around us, especially be around professionals, you know, in a professional environment to see what the next level is like. And I think this will just be a joy for this kid.
Yeah, has a lot still to learn, like most young players. Has got goals written all over him, I feel. And then the third one is Shaquan Davis, is for the first time selected for the squad, the goalkeeper at Mount Pleasant. Surely can be one of our future Reggae Boyz goalkeepers. Trained with us when we had the camp here against Canada, and has impressed our goalkeeper coach, and he wants to at least continue to monitor him and help him grow. I think the squad is online, so with so many players out, gives of course chance for others to step up and shine. And we after some absent times, we are recalling Ronaldo Sifas. He's been playing really well in Turkey for his club. Jamal Lowe also played really well for Swansea. Corey Burke, returning from injury, is fit and ready. And Richard King has not been with us for some time, so we recall him again. The rest of the squad, as you can see online, are the players that have been with us in the Nations League games leading up to this one since September. It's really nice to have a player like Michael Antonio, who got injured against Canada, now back into action. And the same I can say with Casey Palmer, who missed out, I think, the Canada matches. So he's back and playing really well for Coventry at the moment. So we have players doing really well at their clubs, and we hope they can transfer that into the national team.
And I know we do have some print media with us as well, and I know editorially getting all the names very, very important, just so for clarity as well. So I'm just going to run through the list, and of course, you know, our coaches will continue along those lines as well. So goalkeepers, Andre Blake, Shaquan Davis, and Jamali Waite. Defenders, Richard King, Damian Lowe, Dishon Bernard, Michael Hector, Dexter Lembekisa, Tavon Gray, and Greg Lee. Midfielders, Daniel Johnson, Joel Latiboder, Bobby Decordova-Reid, Karoy Anderson, Casey Palmer, and Ronaldo Sifas. And the attackers, Corey Burke, Bailey Kadamatari, Demarai Gray, Shamar Nicholson, Michael Antonio, Jamal Lowe, and Kaheem Dixon. So that's the 23 selected for the upcoming games in the Concacaf Nations League finals. All right, everyone, so that is the squad. We'll now open the floor in relation to questions that may have. Please indicate with your hand, and then we can continue and ask questions to coaches Halgrimson and coaches Gordon as well. All right, so we can open the floor for questions now. Yes, Gregory Bryce.
Good morning. Players like Demarai and Leon Bailey have been a real creative and goal scoring output for them. How much pressure do you think Michael Antonio now will have to take up in their absence as one of the leading men?
Well, you're absolutely correct. Without Bailey, Nicholson, and Demari, we are We are lacking the attacking threat that we have had in the games leading up to this one. So it will be a big task for those who step in, the likes of Michael Antonio, to lead the attack. But having looked at the players that have the possibility to play there, I am pretty optimistic that they will bring something new to the table, something exciting, and yeah, it's just an opportunity. It's better to look at it as an opportunity rather than something to make up for. So, yeah. So I think some players will for sure be looking at the squad and say, now it's my turn to play. I'm gonna step into into these shoes and do good. So I hope that the players will grab this opportunity they have in this huge game.
You have a follow-up, Bryce?
Speaking about opportunities. Okay. Speaking about opportunities, with the recent Trinidad camp, a player like Kaim Dixon, how much pressure do you think he's under now to perform at such a young age in a match like this?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's really important both for the supporters and him to understand that this is a chance he will get now, and we are not asking him to deliver the same as others. This is a test for him, a chance for him to grow as a player and a person. We think he has a bright future. You know, he's only 19 and has not played a lot of let's say grown-up football. So it's mostly schoolboy football. It's a similar situation like with Whisper when we took him to the Gold Cup. He grabbed his opportunity, did well for us. So it's just a chance. He knows, like everybody else, he will have more chances in the future if he plays his card correctly. But this is not do or die for him. This is an opportunity, and I hope he understands it. There's no pressure on that kid. And it's also just to see how he interacts, like Meron said, how he interacts with these players, different kind of players, and normally good players will step up and play better with better players around them. So I hope that will happen for Kaim, but the future is his, and for sure, whether he plays or whether he plays good or bad, there will be more opportunities in the future for him. You want to add something to that?
Just to add to what Coach is saying, taking Kaim into an environment like this is not to pressure him as a footballer, but to build his character, build his professionalism, you know, because his next life or his next level will be that. So it's not to bring him here to help us to get results, you know, but trust me, if you give him a chance, he will definitely deliver. But that's not what we are thinking of. Just as what Coach said we did for Whisper, you know, bring him in the environment, bring him around professionals, you know, let him see the next level of football is what is most important for us.
Thank you very much, Gregory. I appreciate it. Any follow-up questions? Anybody else? Members of the media? Yes, you can go ahead, Mr. Blake.
Good morning. Morning, Coach. Morning to the press officer, Simon. Morning, Coach Gordon. Ohini Blake, Dre Anyweather Sports. You can choose the answer as you may, but I want to ask. You explained clearly about some of the senior players who were not selected. We accept that. We just want to ask about two players and your thoughts on them. Let's start with the easier one. In the goalkeeping department, for the third choice goalkeeper, we have seen Amal Knight being given a role. We have seen Kemar Foster locally. You want to shed some light on the reasons behind the choice of Shaquan in this opportunity, and then a follow-up question after.
I wish that our goalkeeper coach was here, so it's more his decision who he brings as goalkeeper coaches. But for sure, Shaquan has done well once he has been with us. So, like I said, we took him in for trainings when we were here last camp against Canada, not as a squad member, but for the goalkeeper to look at him. He has been playing well and trained well with Mount Pleasant. I think, well, I'm not going to say what goalkeeper qualities our goalkeeper coach sees in him, but he thinks he is a goalkeeper that can step up even improve more, and we need more goalkeepers to be playing at a higher level. So maybe a difference from Kemar Foster, who gives us a lot of experience. This one, Shaquan, is younger, and we have Amal Knight as well. So what are we looking for in our goalkeepers selection is always we have to look at them three and see what they give us. So for sure he is a future, I would say he's a future goalkeeper with a good guidance. He can be one of the best in the future. So I think that is the reason, without, I'm putting words in my goalkeeper coach mouth.
And the more difficult one would be, I know Simon attempted to go through the squad. Thanks for that. The Dujon Richards, he had been a young player who had been brought in the squad last year at the Gold Cup. And at that time, Coach Marion, you were full of praises for the young man. He scored against Trinidad. And at the time, Coach Marion, you had said that this was one for 2026 and beyond. So I'm seeking an answer as to his omission, that he, having been brought in to be developed for 2026 and beyond, and having not had a bad game for Jamaica, the reasons for his omission.
Yeah, it's a good question, and clearly it's good to have this question, just to clarify. He is now at Chelsea. Finally, he had a long time before he went to Chelsea, so he didn't play a lot of matches. Even though we played him, he was not playing regular football at that time, but he has some good coaching, and he was fit, but apparently not much fit. Now he has played some under 19 games for Chelsea, and recently, I think, starting last week or 2 weeks ago, he started to play for the under 21. Is starting to score there, so he's growing in this environment, and we love that he went and took this big step. And it's always, how big step is it? Can he grow? But at least you can see now he's starting to play for the under 21s at Chelsea. So apparently he is growing there, getting to know the environment, and it's not like we have forgotten about Whisper by far. But he needs time to adjust and develop, and I think if he continues like this, he will develop. So it's not going to be a long time until you see him back again. But let's give him time to grow and develop in his environment.
And finally, Coach, what is the realistic expectation to the fans? Are we in this to win our first piece of silverware? That's the final question.
Good question. Of course. When you are in a Final Four in any tournament, you of course are aiming to win. So that's always when you go into every game to win it, and especially when you only need 2 good performances to win a title. So, but if you're asking about percentage, how much percentage, or if you want to bet on it, I can't give you the odds on it. But for sure, if you look at the squad, US has players playing at a higher level than us. So maybe on paper, US is more likely. But this wonderful game, is not always how it looks on paper. The result doesn't always reflect on how it looks on paper. So I think we are growing. If we have grown this much, we would just see on the 21st.
Thank you very much, Mr. Blake. Really appreciate it. We have another question here at the back. Right, go ahead.
Coach, question about a player that the fans have been asking about for a long while now, Omar Hutchinson. Question is, did he receive a call-up, or what's the latest update on Omar Hutchinson, since we haven't seen him now in a long while?
Now, again, a player that we are monitoring, we are in contact with. So a good question. I know the fans have been asking about him. So we had, or I am in contact with the family. They said, as you remember, we're not hiding anything. They said that he wanted time before he wanted to come back to national team, because and this time he said he wants to focus on the promotion fight, and after that he will take the step for the national team. But he's really now focused on getting the promotion for Ipswich. He wants to purely focus on that, and he feels like it's enough for him at the moment as a player to be doing that one thing at this time. So we respect that, but we are monitoring that player, are in good contact with them. So there's nothing unusual about this. He's just focusing on his career at Ipswich, and yeah, that is his free choice, of course. But like you saw in our 60-player squad, he was there. So we always are hoping that he will sometimes say, okay, I'm ready.
All right, coach, and final question with Bailey, the youngster from Sheffield. What qualities did you see in that makes you think, I think this can add something different to what we have with our strike force at this moment?
Well, firstly, he's like Kaim Dixon. He has got goals written all over him. So in his youth career, he scored a lot of goals. For me as a striker, what catches my eye is that he's really hardworking. He takes constant running behind defenses. He's a good link-up player. He's clever using spaces, and his technique is really good. So I think he has all the attributes that a good striker should have. But he's still young, like Kaim Dixon. So I think it's good for him to get to know the players, come into the squad. We can evaluate him in this camp. So I'm looking really forward to seeing him, what he can deliver and give us on the training session, and hopefully he can be a surprise when he starts to play. But for sure, a future player for us.
This is kind of an off-context type question. Leading up to the last match versus Canada, we played the big match result. The moments before you guys walked out on that pitch, what was going through your mind?
Before the game, I really don't remember. Really don't remember. We were probably thinking about some tactical things, but I really don't remember. Normally, I have him. He's my portable drive. So my gigabytes are kept with him and him.
I think one of the most important things we spoke about as a group was that we need 2 goals, at least. You know, so even if Canada scored first, we're going to need 2 goals. So that was the main thing from a tactical point of view. We know it was going to be a tough night for us. We had some bad history on that pitch. We know that we have to fight against history and fight against weather and everything. So it was just a mindset thing for us, I think.
All right, thank you very much, Mario. Appreciate it. Do we have any more further questions?
Yeah, good morning. How important was that match, that Canada match? How important it is now in the scheme of things heading into this match? How you perform, how you actually came out of that match in that tough environment? How important is it now heading into this match? How are you going to use that as any form of platform or whatever?
So it's a good question. I think, you know, that Canada environment, you know, kind of show the new us where we are willing to go anywhere and fight. Especially, you know, the plans that we had as a technical staff that we presented to the players was that, you know, in order to have competitive games for all the windows coming forward, you know, we need to win that game to go to the Nation League semi-finals. And I think, you know, that pushed us, you know, all the players, you know, were fighting for at no point in the game you saw like we were going to give up. You know, I know a lot of people stopped watching the game after Canada scored first, but we had that belief, we had that that will to say that we're gonna push through. And I think that will and that know-how and that fight, we're gonna, you know, just push over into the US game.
Can I add to this? I think psychologically it's important knowing that we can do things like this going into this game against US. Maybe the odds are not in our favor, but we still know what we did there. So psychologically, it gives us strength and growing as a team. It gives us strength. Again, financially as well for the federation to have won this game, to secure this semi-final and final, huge games, and then we secured our spot in the Copa America. So again, financially really important for the federation. So we can grow as a unit, we can grow as a federation, doing more things for the senior teams, both men's and the women's. So it makes it easier financially as well.
Yeah, one more. Coach, I don't know if you're aware, but there's a perception that in your mind already as a staff, most local players won't get a look in at the crunch time. You spoke about some players taking their chances in Trinidad. And you also spoke earlier about there will still be an eye on the local situation where Coach Meron will possibly supervise and oversee. What can you tell us about that in terms of, you know, are you still, will you be having a stern eye still out for the local talent when the crunch time comes around, for the big ones?
Yeah, I kind of answered that before. So we will continue to do that. I think we have spent a lot of time now, recent 2 months. For me, it really doesn't matter where the talent comes. We just want to select the best talents. I said in my meetings with the guys in the parishes or the people in the parishes that I probably am not as sentimental as many of Jamaicans. It's pretty basic. If there's a good player here in Jamaica, he's sold, and the clubs will sell a player when an offer comes, more or less. They even send them in season on loan for the chance to sell a player. So we often talked about, you know, a player, if he's good, he's sold normally to a USL club in US. And if a player in USL is good, where does he go? He goes to the MLS. And if a player is good in the MLS, where does he go? He goes to the top clubs in Europe. So if we have already a lot of players in the top clubs in Europe, it kind of, for me, makes sense that we should start to look there and find the players there. Of course, there will always be exceptions. For me, it's just logic. It's just logic. But we have our eyes on the players here. We have been selecting players from here. Also, if we do that, these players will probably take the next step. They will get more exposure, etc. I think, though, the first national team should not be that platform. It should be an under-23 national team where these players can play on a regular basis. I get what you're asking, but I kind of answer this question in the opening statement.
Yeah, because as I said, the perception, no matter what, there will be that perception that at the end of the day, irrespective of what you say,
yeah, I don't think we can change. I don't think we can change the perception of people. So if people want more domestic players playing in the JPL or in the schoolboy football to play for the first national team, you know, that's their opinion. I just express what I feel and I think and how I see things, and I like to be honest. And if people don't agree with me, then of course they have the right to criticize our selection.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate there, guys. Really appreciate the questions for coaches Hallgrimson and Gordon. Thank you for being here as well, everybody. We appreciate it. For those individuals that will be heading to Dallas, safe journey to those, all right? And, you know where exactly you can get more information following the national team, JFF Football on Twitter, Instagram, and also YouTube as well for the latest updates. So thank you very much for being here, guys. Be safe on the road, and we will certainly be in touch. Have a pleasant day.